Welcome everyone to another episode of the BetterU Podcast, where we go in depth and get to listen to stories of hope, strength, and courage straight from some of the leading health, fitness, and wellness experts who help transform lives one person at a time. I am your host, RKaye, and today I am joined by the lovely nurse, entrepreneur, intuitive guide, and healer, Miss Abigail White. How are you doing today, Abigail?
I am good. How are you?
I am very good, and I'd like to say thank you for joining us in today's episode. Now, I was going through your work, and it's very interesting, actually, and it's something that's a little it's something new for me. It's unique, actually, and it's very interesting. So, could you tell our audience, everyone listening to today's episode, how you go through what's the process? How does it really go?
Yeah. So like RKaye said, I am a medical intuitive and I'm a nurse by trade. So health and wellness is 100% my life.
Yeah, exactly.
Telling people how to heal, telling people like what's going on with them at the root cause is really like the biggest thing for me. And like how I do it is quite interesting. So with my extensive medical knowledge, it gives me a little bit of a leg up in terms of understanding advanced, complex medical issues, but I also am a professional intuitive at the same time. So I'm highly empathic. I receive impressions through meditation and receive answers through that lens. And then I write down everything I get in meditation. So I guess I should start with somebody books a session with me. And they let me know just a little bit about, what it is. Like my intake form is really, really basic. It's like, what topic or issue do you want us to kind of look into? And they choose how much or how little to tell me. Most people kind of go middle of the road, I'm having this symptom, this symptom, this symptom. Yeah. And I just really don't know what's causing it. I don't know what to do about it. And with that little bit of information, I go into meditation. I call their energy forward and I start writing down what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, what I'm being told. And then I go and sit down via Zoom with the client and I say, okay, so this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm feeling. This is what's showing up for me. How does this resonate with you? And then when we have a really good understanding of what is happening inside of their body, that's when I start utilizing my knowledge as a nurse to give some really good supportive physical things, because one of the things that I've learned through my hundreds of readings and thousands of looks into energy is there's never just one aspect to healing. It's never just physical. There's always an energetic thing as well. And so if I don't help teach about both sides and say, oh, you need to do more movement, like your thyroid is off and we need to do some more movement, some more physical activity. Let's talk about what that looks like for you. Or you need to change your nutrition, or you've got this energetic trauma, this emotional trauma from your past, and we need to figure out what can we do to help your body support itself through this healing as you kind of work on this more emotional piece. That once we have that conversation, then we can really start rolling with people. And I've had a lot of success, people being able to get off of their diabetic medication, their hypertension medication, having them drop weight and thinking like they just now went from, one size to two sizes down because all of a sudden their belly isn't as bloated.
Yeah.
So it's it's beyond transformative. I feel like it's never just a physical transformation that my clients experience. There's always an emotional and spiritual one as well, if that's what they are looking for.
That is amazing. Like, it's just very, I don't know. I don't know the word to put it, but it's for the lack of term, it's an amazing transformation inside and out, right? So, can you tell me how it all started for you? Like, what was it that led you to doing this specific type of path to helping others?
Yeah, so I was that kid, like real young. I was that kid that could hear things other people couldn't. I could see things other people couldn't. The thing that got me in trouble the most was the fact that I could hear when people lied. And the fun thing is that most people don't know that they're lying when they lie, but I can hear like the vibrational difference when like something comes out of their mouth and like their body knows that that's not true. So of course, as a kid, like hearing that and not having tact, like not understanding, like they don't know that they're, you know, that they're not telling the truth. But calling people out, it made making friends a little difficult. And it turns out that my mom was much like me when I was little, and her way of survival was to be quiet, was to shut everything down. And to not utilize her gifts and not understand that she didn't have anybody around her who could teach her, and therefore she couldn't teach me. And so that was her advice to me, was to sit down, be quiet, you know, not make too much of a scene or a fuss. And I, in my stubborn way, I was like, no, I don't like that. I don't like that idea. And so I went through elementary, high school, college, even, you know, really I didn't have the language for what I was and how I could do what I do. And then I graduated. I hold a bachelor's in neuroscience and a double minor in writing and rhetoric and philosophy. And I thought I was going to go to med school. So I had majored in pre-med as well. And by the time I graduated college, I knew I wasn't going to go to med school. But I was called to health. Like I knew medicine was going to be my path forward in some shape or form. And I decided that I was going to go to nursing school. I applied to one school. I got in, went and graduated with a bachelor's in nursing. And then my very first nursing job, I was abused emotionally and verbally by my management. And I just had like the worst time. And it led me to therapy. It led me to my first spiritual mentor. And then she actually had a certification program. And so I certified as a professional intuitive, and then developed my business, which I realized was desperately needed because there were a lot of people who were only working on one side of the equation.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you had modern medicine. I was working in that field. I was working on that side of the equation. But what made me realize how special I was is that I had the other side of the equation too. And I could balance them. I had the knowledge and the skills to balance the two equations and make it so that somebody's journey towards their optimal level of health, whether that was weight loss or hormone issues or infertility or cancer diagnoses or, you know, high blood pressure or blood sugar, whatever it may be, right?
Yes.
Genetic skin conditions, that I had the ability to teach them how to get from where they were or where they are to where they wanted to be. And so, yeah, it was a long, like 27 years before I had some real answers.
Well, that is very interesting. I can relate to, you know, going to med school and then deciding it's not for me. I had a similar experience. And going back to what you said, like you have like that beautiful balance between both worlds, between every aspect of it. So let's say I'm someone who's like really feeling into health troubles. Do you have like what's your very first step maybe to, begin the process of trying to figure out how to begin a journey or to do the changes that are necessary? So for beginners, what do you usually let them know?
I love this question so much.
Because sometimes, right, like when someone comes to us, someone needs our help, it's, they're always there like, I want it done now. What do I have to do? So what's your usual take when someone comes up to you and tells you like, hey, Abby, come here and I need your help. Let me know what to do now. I want to change now. So what do you do?
So I love it. First, I tell people, me, like everyone else in this industry, in this world of health and wellness, I am not by any means a magic pill. Number one, just want to get that out there. Yeah. Like anything that I can help you with in terms of guidance, instruction, learning the skills, whatever it might be, the translation of your body's energy, whatever it might be, when I'm having you do it, because that's the other thing. Like I tell people straight out, if you're wanting to come to me and have me do the healing for you, I'm going to tell you that's not kosher. That's old school. That's old school medicine that like doesn't work anymore. And that is why I'm so successful in my business, is because it's not successful anywhere else. And if it was successful, then I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now.
Exactly.
So knowing that usually preps people going, okay, so there is some work to be done. And I'm sure that you as like a fitness person, right? As a trainer, you understand like once you can get your client to like realize, oh, she's actually going to make me lift that weight. She's not going to lift it for me.
True.
Then we can start on the very first thing that I firmly believe is like the basis of any transformation, whether it be health, wellness, spiritual, anything, right? And that's mindset. 100%. I have to ask the question, what do you qualify as sick? What does sick mean to you? Because most people have it twisted. They think sick is every time they sneeze, every time they have a headache, every time they cough, every time they just feel tired, every time that, all of those things. And I have to tell them straight out, those are symptoms, and symptoms do not equate to illness. Not at all. Symptoms are simply a reaction that your body is having to something externally or internally, right? So we don't go to the gym and lift weights and then wake up the next morning feeling that burn in our muscles going, I'm sick. No, we know.
True.
We know that burn is just excess lactic acid that our body will deal with, right? It'll deal with it. The thing is that's medicine, right? That movement, that lifting weight, it's a medicine to help our bodies get from a place that we, where we are to someplace better, right? Sure. And that's how I define medicine. Medicine is anything that gets us from point A to point B. Sometimes, people forget that like moderation is key. So, like, but the difference between, people understanding what a sneeze means or a cough is simply people not explaining it. We've explained lactic acid, your body will handle it. It's okay. You're not dying. That, right? We have professionals like yourself that explain that to people. We don't have enough professionals explaining to people a sneeze is simply a physical response, just like that lactic acid. The more that we can really delve deep into what's behind the sneeze, right? What's behind the cough? Is the cough a physical manifestation of a germ that your body became susceptible to because you're sad or anxious or stressed out, or because you're not speaking your truth? you're not being authentic in your life. And so you've got this persistent cough that you've gone to the 10,000 doctors and they're like, we don't know what's wrong with you. And they can then come to me and I'm like, you're coughing because you're literally not being, you're suffocating yourself. You are not allowing yourself to speak your truth. You're not being authentic in the world. And usually they're like, are you sure? And I'm like, look, are you? Like, disagree with me. Challenge me. Like, please, like, let's talk about it. How do you feel in your relationships? How do you feel in your workplace? How do you feel with your family? Usually that's when somebody goes, oh, damn. Okay. And I'm like, all right, great. Yeah. Now that we're there, let's talk about what you can do to help yourself forward, right? And what you can do is practice your authenticity, practice your truth. It's hard. I know it is, but sing in your car, stand outside and shout just to work that muscle of like letting it out. And then, practice truth at the right time and right place.
True. Like I do agree with a lot of what you explained to us. Like a lot of people tend to believe that things just happen just cause, right? And they don't really deal with everything else that is happening to them. They always just see like, oh, I gained so much weight and it's just the food I ate. Sometimes it's not that, right? So that is a very good point to raise for our audience. And I hope that, some of them are trying to think about more things than just whatever it was that they ate for the day. So speaking of our audience, is there something that you would like to impart with them? Like very useful and practical advice that you could let beginners know right now that they can practice so that they can, like what you said, they can channel in what it is that is really going on and within them.
Yes. So this is probably the hardest one, right, to deal with is how do I get myself to a place where I understand what's going on?
Yeah.
And what I have found is that our body doesn't speak to us in symptoms. This is right, going back to symptoms are simply reactions our body is having. The real way that our body speaks to us is through energy, okay? And when in colloquial terms, it's our emotions, okay? Yeah. Emotions are energy in motion. So for when you're going through life, okay, understand that how you're feeling about whatever you're experiencing, your body is saying something to you. Mm-hmm. So if you feel sad, mad, happy, discontent, disgust, if you feel contempt, if you feel disregarded, right? And I should preface, if you're thinking, how many emotions do I know? Angry, mad, or mad, sad, and happy. Yeah. You don't have enough information. Okay, you're basically in a foreign country and you don't know the language. Okay, and so I want people to think about how stunting and scary that must be to be in a country where you don't know the language and you can't read the signs. Okay. So why would you not want to understand your body? Why wouldn't you want to be fluent in your body, right? Your body is talking to you using your emotions. So learn the as many emotions as you possibly can and really think about what you're feeling as you're experiencing something, right? If you're doing squats, right? A lot of anger can get held in our hamstrings and our quads. Mm-hmm. And if you are pumping that iron and all of a sudden you start feeling a welling of emotion, right? Like you want to scream, finish your sets, finish your reps, right? But then ask yourself that question, why am I so angry? What has been happening that's going on? Because the thing is that through that emotion, your body is telling you whether or not you should keep doing what you're doing. A lot of people will say, oh, I'm feeling this emotion and I'm just going to keep doing squats, or I'm going to, finish this set and I'm going to put on more weight. And they're going to ignore the feeling that they're experiencing. Yeah. What does that usually lead to? Poor form, which then equals to injury, right? Correct. So we see a lot of people injuring themselves when they're doing their fitness routines because they're ignoring what their body is telling them. And all they had to do was be like, why am I so angry? Stop. Why am I so angry? Who am I angry at? What happened in the last 12, 24, 36 hours? Or what big thing? Usually people don't have to think that hard. Like, they know. True. Exactly. Know. Why are you so angry? Same thing with sad. Same thing with disgust, right? So just know that the easiest and hardest thing that I could give you to start with is really pay attention to your emotions. Ask yourself why you're feeling what you're feeling when you're feeling it, and you will start to understand your body as it's talking to you. And you can then help prevent illness or injury before it occurs, because you're actively in conversation with your body.
That is great. That's a great start for everyone. I think that many of us these days, we just try to tend to just brush things off, right? So, like, I'm feeling this way, but I have a full day ahead of me, so forget about it, right? So, I mean, that's the honest truth, right? Like, yes, a lot of absolutely. Us, we tend to focus more on the physical and we forget about everything else. So
and that's life, right? Like, we have husbands, wives, kids, jobs, things to plan. So, if you're one of those people that you're sitting and you're going, but I've got so much to do. Exactly. I get it. Yeah. Take it one step at a time. Slow baby steps.
True. Exactly. I love that. So one more little piece of advice before we let our audience go today, Abby. So what's your favorite quote or motto that you think you live by? Like, maybe something that is from your own wording, or a favorite quote from somebody that you has inspired you.
Yeah. So can I give 3 real quick? One that's mine and 2 that are not mine. So 2 that are not mine. One would be, this too shall pass. And it is our light, not our darkness, that we are most afraid of. Those 2 are the things that I live by, that really got me through some of my toughest times, and remind me to this day that that I'm in control, and that there is no reason to be afraid of who I am, afraid of what I can do. And then one that I say is, only you get to decide what breaks you. So when I'm having a tough day, I remind myself of that. Only I get to decide what breaks me. And so the question is, will this task, will this obstacle, will this rep, will this meal, will this break me? Or will I gather my strength and gather my discipline and work through in a way that I'm choosing into my life, not pushing myself through it. I'm actively choosing with gusto that this is how I want to live my life. This is how I want to show up. Because when you get to choose that, when you actively are choosing that, your whole world changes.
That is, like, I don't know what to say after that. That is such wonderful advice for everyone. And I think that everybody listening today, you guys should go check out Abby's work. It's just amazing. It's a very unique way, a very unique perspective to everyone, all of us, looking out for our health and our wellness. So thank you so much for being with us today, Abby. It was such truly a different type of my words are gone.
It's okay. Thank you so much for having me. I so appreciate your work.
Thank you so much, Abby. And thank you guys for joining us. Now, of course, I will not leave you guys hanging. I will give all those links and sites to where you guys can find Abby in the description box. Thank you, everyone, for watching us today for the BetterU Podcast. This is me, Coach RKaye, signing off. But always remember, never give up on your movement journey because it's never too late to move. Bye, guys.